Salam sejahtera. I hope you're all well. So today's topic is on Paleoantropologi for UAW302 Sains dalam Arkeologi. I have prepared some extra materials for you on land space by TES. So you can just scan the QR code to get there, or typing this HTTP on your browser, you can get to this space here. So for this session, I'm just going to highlight the points for the lecture. I won't go through all the details. I will put up extra reading or videos for you to follow up. So please do so after the end of the session. So sinopsis untuk sesi ini adalah untuk membincangkan kaedah analisis rangka manusia, tulang dan gigi prasejarah dalam membantu interpretasi terhadap usia, jantina, ras, fizikal, penyakit dan lain-lain. Perbincangan akan termasuk definisi apakah paleoantropologi, terminologi yang digunakan dalam tulang dan gigi, dan jenis-jenis analisis rangka manusia prasejarah. Jadi apakah itu paleoantropologi? Ia merupakan satu bidang multidisciplinary yang merangkumi biological sciences, geological sciences, anthropology dan arkeologi. Jadi gabungan daripada berbagai bidang ini adalah untuk apa? Supaya menjalankan siasatan ke atas rangka manusia yang ditemui di tapak arkeologi, menolong kita membina interpretasi berkaitan dengan kebudayaan yang berlangsung. Kaedah-kaedah yang digunakan adalah melalui penarikan struktur, tingkah laku dan ekologi. Jadi paleoantropologis biasanya menggunakan dua perkataan untuk describe this group of creatures. Hominoid merupakan semua yang merangkumi mawas dengan human, manusia awal, manakala hominid merupakan manusia dan saudara-saudaranya yang lebih dekat kepada manusia daripada chimpanzee. Jadi terdapat 3 jenis penemuan tulang manusia dalam arkeologi. Yang pertama, dalam bentuk pecahan ataupun fragmentary, seperti Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Erectus dan Sapien. Yang kedua adalah secara lengkap ataupun partial, seperti Australopithecus afarensis dan di Malaysia Nia collection, you can see they are partial human skeletal remains. Yang ketiga, pengebumian, iaitu diiringi dengan burial goods, food remains like shells, and you can see pottery here, all these burials. You can see from Egypt sarcophagus, mummies, mass burials, and di Sabah kinabatangan dalam bentuk fosil. Jadi apakah sumbangan kajian paleoantropologi kepada arkeologi? Terdapat 10 pecahan sumbangan utama paleoantropologi. Yang pertama, kita kena tentukan adakah jumpaan yang kita ada tulang manusia ataupun haiwan. Yang kedua, mengenal pasti bahagian rangka dan jenis tulang manusia. Kita bezakan skull daripada yang lower limb, upper limb, kena identify individually. Ketiga, jantina. Keempat, usia semasa kematian. Kelima, ketinggian. 6, diet. 7, ras ataupun race in English. 8, penyakit. 9, postmortem mortification rangka ataupun trauma. Postmortem di sini maksudnya selepas postmortem kematian. Sebarang perubahan yang berlaku terhadap rangka selepas kematian. Last kali kita tengok rupa bentuk ataupun morfologi rangka tersebut. First kali kita tengok apakah sama ada tulang tersebut manusia atau haiwan. Macam mana kita tahu? Jadi melalui in-depth knowledge terhadap rangka manusia. Jadi basic knowledge kena ada untuk bezakan daripada haiwan lain. Ini untuk penting menghasilkan data interpretasi yang tepat. Jadi yang kedua, selepas kita sudah pasti itu ialah rangka manusia, kita kena identify individually rangka dia. So this is a basic diagram of human skeletal remains. Kita ada cranium yang termasuk the whole skull, mandible dikecualikan daripada cranium, cervical vertebra iaitu tulus vertebra di belakang, thoracic tengah-tengah, clavicle dan so on. Saya akan pergi ke parts pada slide yang seterusnya. So in total, human have 206 bones. Tengok skull sahaja walaupun nampak seketul, but it's actually consisted of 29 bones that fuse together. Maksudnya dia tidak memberi ruang untuk banyak pergerakan. And all together you see we have the whole vertebral column 24, pelvis has 2, hand bones and feet bones, all together 206. Ini adalah arah anatomy. So if you look at from to the top is superior, from top we look at the bottom is inferior, in front of us is anterior, to the back is posterior. So let's say we cut it into half. Any direction going into center is medial, from inside out is to lateral. So macam ketiak sini, to the lateral is towards ujung jari. So we organized the skeleton into two, axial and appendicular. In blue is axial skeleton, in purple is the appendicular. Axial merangkumi tengkorak, mandible, manubrium and sternum. This is manubrium and sternum. Sangka, rusuk, all the rib bones, dan turus vertebra. So this is the vertebral column. Vertebral column can be divided into 5 types. Cervical, this is cervical yang bahagian leher. Thoracic, 12 of them. Lumbar, sacrum, coccyx. So all together 24. So you will see this is actually more than 4 or 5, but they all fuse together. Including this part, coccyx normally fuse together. When you put them together, dia akan membentuk curve like this. Like you have the cervical curve, thoracic curve, lumbar curve, and pelvic curve. We move on to the appendicular skeleton. So this is the appendicular skeleton yang termasuk clavicle, scapula, humerus, all the extremities, upper and lower limbs, and the pelvic bones. Jadi in zoom in, the appendage ataupun rangka appendage termasuk clavicle dan scapula, humerus, ulna, radius, carpus, metacarpus, dan phalanx. This is the upper limb. In the lower limb, we have the femur, patella, tibia, fibula, tarsus, metatarsus, phalanx, ilium, ischium, and pubis. This is the makeup on the whole pelvic bone. So sometimes why do we need to look at these specific anatomy names on the bone? Kita tahu ini adalah satu humerus. Why do we need to know all these small, tiny characteristics on the bone, because sometimes it is not as lucky to get a complete bone like this. Jadi kalau complete bone, kita tengok ini, kita tahu ini adalah humerus. But when we are not so lucky, we only have like a small section, like just here, ataupun sini sahaja. So by looking at these features, like nutrient foramen, it would be a hole going down instead of going up. So you can know if just this section, which direction of this bone going, or just this section, we can know different names like medial, supracondylar crest around here, or this fossa, or this capitulum, and we'll be able to identify left or right, or upper or lower limb. So tulang juga boleh dibezakan melalui morfologinya, seperti tulang panjang, long bone, flat bone. We have the irregular bone. This is short bones on our hand or feet, and we have the sesamoid bone, yang merupakan patella. Sesamoid as in like sesame seed. Next, we move on to jantina. Generally, rangka lelaki lebih besar, panjang, lebar, or in other words, we call it robust compared to perempuan, which is more gracile. Gracile as in you look at the jaw here for male compared to female, it is less robust. And then you look at the general features, everything is just different. And how do we say, like for example, so I'm not going to go through everything, you can just read on your own. For example, just on tengkorak dan rahang, there are a set of characteristics can be used for sexual dimorphism scoring. Contohnya pada knuckle crest ataupun mastoid process pada skull cranium, ataupun pada this orbit here. So what is happening is when you look at your sample, when you have a sample consistently showing features like more prominent 45, 45, 45, in total, when you have more closer to this range, it is masculine, it is most likely a male. When you have features that is rounded and sharper, like yang di atas margin ini, consistently scoring 1212, then this sample most likely is female. So similarly, you can look at the pelvic bone. We have this similar structure as well as between male and female in this arch and the preauricular sulcus, pubic symphysis, face. They all have different features. You can look at it in details. So another big difference between male and female is the adaptation of female pelvics in preparation for delivering of baby. So you can see the shape is more oval here, and then here is like heart shape. This is heart shape, and sorry, this is like much smaller, and you have this part of the pelvis that is flattening out, while here is like curving in, making the whole area is tighter. Usia pada masa kematian boleh dinampak melalui gigi ataupun sambungan tulang. Pada gigi pula, it can be shown melalui pertumbuhan gigi dan kesan hausan gigi. So we look at the anatomy of gigi dan arah pembukaan. So generally speaking, above the gum line is called crown, below it is the root. So this is animal. We have the dentine is the inner section before coming into the pulp chamber. And this is the arah permukaan yang biasa digunakan. So let's say this is the teeth. You have the facial here, and this is the buccal, or specifically sebab dia ditutup dengan pipi. So this is the buccal surface, and this is the lingual surface because ada lidah di sini. So you have the incisal. Incisal adalah untuk gigi kacip sahaja. Mesial and distal means towards central line is called mesial, to the other way is distal. Occlusal is only seen on your molar, where you have this occlusal, the chewing area. It is called the occlusal surface. So, adakah ini manusia ataupun haiwan? Looking at this mixed dentition, you have the gigi di sini, and then you have all these. What are these? Jadi pertumbuhan gigi ada dua jenis, gigi susu atau deciduous, and gigi dewasa permanent. So, what is deciduous? Deciduous means kanak-kanak, gigi kanak-kanak. Prenatal is before it is birth. So 5 months in utero, you can see the teeth are already forming. At 7 month old, you see most of the crown forming in the gum. At birth, the crown is for incisor is almost ready to erupt around 6 plus minus 2 months old. The first teeth up and bottom would be likely erupted. Gigi akan keluar lah. And then you can see this bayang here. So all these are actually the formation of gigi dewasa. It started already forming around here. So it started already forming around 6 months, slowly leading up to the crown in the upper and lower jaw. So you can see around 5 and 6, most of it would be already ready to come out, and around 6 years old, molar, the gigi dewasa, has erupted. So you see, look back to here. This one hasn't. This is the molar, the first molar of gigi dewasa belum keluar, whereas here upper molar has erupted. So it is likely to be around 5 to 6 years old for this specimen. Next, we come to this stage of mixed dentition, around 7 to 10 years old, and you can see it is a mixture of deciduous, gigi susu, dengan gigi dewasa. And some of the adult, so this diagram is just representative. Some adult would remain having gigi susu in their dentition. So around 12 to 15 years, most of the teeth should be erupted except for the last tooth. We call it the wisdom tooth. Normally, it would take around 21 years old and above to erupt, but it could be anywhere from here up to 30s. You can look at this short clip on YouTube. You can just type it here or search by eruption of teeth. Look for these people who publish it, and you can look at this clip on YouTube on the process of eruption. Kesan hausan gigi akan mendedahkan dentin. Ingat tadi kan kita cakap the top surface is enamel and within it is dentin. So before that, so these are the names of our teeth. The first two here, gigi kacip 1, 2, and 1 taring ataupun canine. We have the premolar 1, 2, and molar 1, 2, 3. So kesan hausan adalah sebab daripada kunyahan makanan. So long-term use against each other, upper and lower jaw, it would create these effects. So scientists have been trying to use this as a guideline on how to date the skeletal remains. So when you have a combination, let's say molar 1, 2, 3, looking like this or like this, it would be the age of 25 to 35 years old. This is another system. It's just to show that there are so many other systems as well, but normally one or two can be used, and that is fine. Because after all, we just want a range of umur dia. This is likewise also different charting used. Usia also boleh dijangka melalui pertumbuhan dan perkembangan tulang. Seperti tibia kiri manusia ini, pada semasa dilahirkan tibia nampak macam ini. Antara 1 dan 6, there will be this small lump forming at the end of two ends. So what are they? They are actually the epiphysis, where it encourage growth by elongating the bone, the long bone. So around 12, you can see the caps are mostly still separated, and by 18 years old, the long bone should be all fused at the ossification center. Jadi kalau dalam sampel hidup, this is not separated. It is actually joined together by collagen. So cartilage and everything, they are all joined together, so it is not separated. Hanya sebab dia sudah kering and then it looks separated. We have other bones as well, can be used for dating, like clavicle is only joined at 26, sacrum between 16 to 23. Next is to look at the suture line. Suture line maksudnya, we have our cranium is formed by different bones, all fused together. Fused as in, there is a small gap di sini, macam overlap di sini. So it would be all come together and then like interlocking. So yang pada cranium yang muda, kita boleh nampak line-nya jelas lagi belum fused together. With age, these lines will be obliterated and you can see all these are blurred. So this is another developed system, one of the developed systems used to date using suture line. So essentially it is just using different markers on the suture lines on the skull, and then depends on whether it's obliterated or not, and you get a composite score, and that would give you the age estimation. Satu lagi boleh digunakan adalah topografi ataupun morfologi corak pada symphysial surface pada pelvis. You can see changes. You can see some changes, but it is not a very clear pattern. You can see this is like undulated, a lot of up and down, macam atas naik turun bukit, and surface somehow become perforated, macam banyak lubang-lubang, and then after that it becomes chalky and flattened out. So this is really just a range. It moved through a range of changes. It could only be a rough guide. You could not be definitely say, oh, this sample is 18 to 19 or 22 to 24. It can only be used as a rough guide. Ketinggian skeletal remains boleh digunakan melalui ukuran, terus menggunakan osteometric board. Jadi biasanya ukuran tersebut boleh digunakan selepas itu dalam statistik untuk tengok apakah distribution ataupun demografi dia. For incomplete bone, ada juga formula dia untuk menentukan ketinggian. Tapi di sini kita fokus kepada tulang lengkap. Seperti sebelum ini, banyak juga sistem digunakan untuk menjangka ketinggian. Di sini, developed in 1970, Uh, formulas are developed according to white males, black females, and so on. So if you have the measurement of the black male, if you know the specimen, you can use this formula, measure the whole bone of humerus, darab 3.26 campur 62.1, and you get the rough estimation of ketinggian. However, normally we wouldn't know the race of the skeletal remains. So Strovold in 1990 developed this formula for all ethnic groups independent of sex. Maksudnya lelaki perempuan pun boleh guna. So as long as you have, like, let's say the humerus, darab 4.62 plus 19, and you get the estimation of height, stature from this formula. Next, kita tengok diet. Sumber makanan berbeza. Dia boleh ditentukan melalui tahap kehausan gigi. So, kalau orang tersebut makan makanan yang bersirat, daging, karbohidrat yang tinggi, maka dia akan menyebabkan tahap kehausan gigi pun tinggi. We can also, through the dental, look at the microwear and trace element, and we also can do stable isotope and look at what kind of food they have eaten. Is it protein from plant or from animals? Jadi biasanya sampel diambil ke atas osteologi sampel untuk menanalisis komposisinya. Kita boleh dapatkan profil makanan, looking at the hydrogen, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, calcium, and strontium. For example, for diet high in the plant, the carbon isotope would be higher. Nitrogen higher would be indicating a diet rich of seafood. So all these come to paleo diet. Jadi fotosintesis boleh dibagi kepada dua jenis, C3 dan C4. It is just different way of using carbon dioxide in the plant to process food, and so by looking at the different pathways, we can know what kind of food they have been eaten. They have been eating, like C3, we have most plants, rice, root crops, wheat and barley, fruits, nuts and honey. C4 indicating tropical grasses, corn and sugarcane. Seterusnya kita tengok ras yang merupakan satu perkataan daripada masa lalu yang memberi makna berlainan kepada orang berbeza. So it would open to misinterpretation. Yang pentingnya dia ada ciri-ciri tulang yang boleh membezakan orang mengikut lokasi yang tertentu. Jadi dalam skop analisis rangka manusia, biasanya penentuan asal-usul lebih dikaitkan dengan menggunakan affinity biology dan bukannya dari segi sosial, politik ataupun konsep agama. Biasanya we can use pemeriksaan morfologi kasar kepada kepala, femur dan sacrum untuk membuat anggaran kasar. For example, from teeth, we have the shovel shape. This is an incisor. It looks like a shovel. Feature ini boleh dinampak pada 90% of Mongoloids, including Eskimos and American Indians. And on the molar itself, we have the Carabalis scars. Not everyone has it. Sometimes somebody would have a small donjolan tumbuh di sini, or somewhere around the crown, and it can be seen in 37% of Caucasoid. In terms of morphology, like on the skull, you have the narrow V-shaped arch of the upper jaw. It indicates a Caucasoid. And for the negroid, ada small teeth gap di depan, indicating midline diastema, and it also has a higher chance of supernumerary. Maksudnya teeth is higher than what is normal. Next, we look at penyakit. So it would be restricted to any disease that left any physical marks pada rangka manusia. Ia boleh dikenal pasti melalui X-ray atau radiografi, and can also look from DNA like cancer or any pathogen genomes that left or still lingered in the sample. Yang ketara sangat adalah achondroplasia, macam dwarfism, where there is a hormonal imbalance in development, resulting in shorter and deformation of the long bones. We have this curve radius syndrome, or this metacarpal and phalange is fused together due to a tritic articular cartilage. Jadi macam sampel ini juga menunjukkan a tritic growth, macam some little bony growth on the bone itself. This is autoimmune disease, so it would be very painful for the person itself. This is also another example can be seen on the vertebrae, tritic condition. This is a healed fracture, maksudnya radius ini patah and then it was left and not healed properly, and that's why it seemed twisted and out of shape. Whereas here, there's a lubang here indicating a dental abscess. Dental abscess maksudnya an infection at the root of the teeth, causing infection here, and then it become pus. So over time, dia tinggalkan satu lubang di sini. So X-ray and radiography can be used to look at the skeletal remains without destroying them. For example, like mummy, you can put the whole thing in and you can see the skeletal remains without opening up. Next, we look at the post-mortem modifikasi. Ia merupakan satu analisis taphonomy ataupun trauma maksudnya injury, untuk membina interpretasi mengenai proses dan aktiviti masa lampau yang berlaku pada rangka manusia prasejarah. Terdapat dua jenis faktor perubahan, jadi kena berhati-hati semasa buat interpretasi. Ia boleh disebabkan oleh modifikasi secara semula jadi ataupun daripada haiwan serangga dan manusia. So, ini merupakan salah satu modifikasi semula jadi unsur cuaca dan iklim through lulu hawa dan kedelasan, menyebabkan dulang jadi brittle, rapuh, jadi bleach, nampak keputihan. And then we have this small marking here when the tumbuhan grow along the surface, the root would release acid, so it etched along the surface. Yang ini merupakan kesan gigitan daripada haiwan ataupun serangga yang looking for lemak, nutrien dan keperluan untuk pertumbuhan gigi serta gitaran hidup. And then we have the human evidence. Like in this case, the teeth, you can see they are modified. So it could be, it is most likely before it was meninggal and this was done. And here, how do we say, is it pre-mortem or post-mortem? I would say it is pre-mortem. Sebelum mati, dia adalah mengalami satu kecederaan di sini. But there is time to heal, that's why it is smooth. Whilst here, you can see it is cracked and the skull was impaled by these projectiles. Maksudnya, it is likely to be the cause of death for this person. And there's no time to heal. Same as this anak panah yang pierced through the mandibular. So this would be evidence of trauma before, pre-mortem. There are also in Peru like this kind of deformation, but they are not actually. They were done deliberately using this method where you tie the board between the frontal and the back of the cranium for years, and you will have this kind of deformation. Lastly, we look at the morphology, or how would the diseased people look like. Normally, nowadays, there are all sort of reconstruction using X-ray or CT scan. For example, Otzi, discovered in 1991, it is the oldest known natural human mummy, dated to 3300 BC. It is from the Neolithic age of Iceland. So you can watch this YouTube clip on Otzi by looking for this title or type in this address. So these are some of the analysis done on Otzi. The weapon is still left in the body. Some of the injuries can be seen on the skin of the hand. These are some of the tools he has on him. So how does the reconstruction done? So from the skull itself, they put on the plasticine and then other characteristics like hair, muscle, and skin. And in the end, this was how they managed to get the reconstruct the face of Otzi. And these are other examples as well that can be used to study the morphology, like the Iceman in Italy, mummies in China, in Peru, uh, in Denmark, and then we have the uh, other form of morphology can be used for reference, like in carving, in painting, and sculpture. So these are all the examples of apakah gambaran, apakah bentuk badan, dan how they move and what kind of clothing or artifacts they carry. So for the rest is on the Parrotman's discovery and the perspective kajian paleoantropologi yang telah dilakukan. So it was found with genetic disease where the phalanx was fused and abnormal. There is also evidence of scoliosis, vertebral column deformed and curved. It was identified as male based on some of the sexual dimorphism features. So this was the reconstruction based on the study. It would have slightly walked with a limp, and the body would be crooked from the scoliosis. And because the femur was quite complete, and it was estimated to be 154 to 160 centimeter in height. So all these are the construction of Sumbangan Paleoantropologi worked on the Parrotman. So it was back then that person lied next to the Parrotman and to show how it would have been buried in the beginning. Jadi apakah interpretasi ataupun pembinaan kebudayaan untuk Parrotman? Parrotman merupakan manusia prasejarah yang panjang usianya pada masa itu, sebab kecacatan sebegini ini dan berjaya hidup sampai 20 ke 30 tahun. Maksudnya he was cared for by the community, and he was buried with barang kiriman seperti 10 jenis spesies haiwan, siput, artifak batu, dan batu pembukul. All these were found together with him. So these are the rest of the others rangka yang prasejarah yang dijumpai di Malaysia, seperti di Gua Kajang Perak, rangka 1, GK 1. So these are the analyses, you can look at them, and you can also search online and see what other information you can get. So we have GK2 as well from Gua Kajang, and then GTK Gua Teluk Kelawar di Perak. So these are the race that was been found for this person with the barang kiriman dan usia dia, pendarikan dated. So if you refer back to one of the first few slides, Paleoantropologi, looking for pendarikan and all these. So all these are to understand uh, the burials or the finding in paleoanthropology. The Gua Harimau, so these are the example and the mapping. So I will put the handout on the blank space at TES test, so you can download and read on your own. And these are the examples and of skeletal remains found. You can look through them at your own time. So if you have any questions or any issues you want to ask, you can always email me. I will leave the contact. Well, you will know my email anyway. So that's all for this session. Thank you.